Out. So this is the daily chicken ritual. Sunday we live stream the ritual. Look at that, I gotta get a little, need to put a little oil on that. Put a little vegetable oil on that so it'll go easier. All right, here we go, ready? Predictions, first one out will be Ponzi, top hen. There she is, every time. Good morning. Next, Chicken Joe, then Blondie. Oh no, that's Ponzi. First one out was Sally the Sea Monster. Wow. Sniffing the morning air, are you? Yeah, so this is a key to being able to sustain yourself from your backyard, is obviously the animal component, as they like to refer to it in permaculture. Chickens are, of course, a pretty easy way to add a huge amount of food, protein specifically, eggs, superfood. You're getting organic eggs. If you make sure everything they eat's organic, you've really got a healthy food source. This small amount of chickens, I always like to say, quick chicken math, will produce something like 1,300 eggs on the low end a year. Be free. I let them free range. And they know what to do. Spread their wings around the corner every time. It's easy for them to lose focus, so to speak. Maybe a little bit of gentle encouragement. Okay, come on. Of course, they find all kinds of bugs right here, so they want to just start foraging. And they also eat the garden snails, which is interesting, that they seek out things with calcium in them, which of course bugs have lots of calcium. But, these chickens do need a good amount of calcium. Don't escape that way. Come on, chick, chick. They'll follow me in if I just go in. Come on, chick, chick. Come on, chick, chick. Come on, chick, chick. Now they're all in. Yeah, they really just want to be where you are at this point. Checking out the little paint specks from the, you can untie my shoe. The little paint specks from painting their coop are on these shoes, which are, by the way, my favorite kind of shoes on earth. The ultimate shoe for me. All right, let's retreat. Yeah, you stay in there. back up. We're gonna, come on, back up, back. There it is. And it doesn't get more simple than that system, honestly. Then I just wrap this piece of wire loosely on here. And now we do have an issue I've got to sort out, which is that these birds have figured out how to fly over, and they've been doing that quite a bit, so we got to solve that. And since now they can fly over, I don't want to have standing water. So one of the things I've got to do, first thing, because they could fly up into the water and drown, is this. This is a chicken hazard for sure if they fly out of their coop. Just collect rainwater off the roof here, and it's incredibly useful to just take a 5-gallon bucket and pour it around plants that need it, because we're so drought prone here. Things can dry up in one day of hot temperatures here out of the sandy soil I have, so to have that has been really helpful. Simple permaculture system. I know that this corner of my roof pours rain off of it during every storm, so I can easily fill that gigantic container, which costs about $10 at Walmart, and use all the water I collect. It comes straight off the roof, and so that's a $10 permaculture system that provides me with water in the corner of my yard where I don't have an easy hose access to. So anyway, stuff like that. Yep. Liking to the way these compost bins are occurring. I cannot believe how much this thing is consumed. And you can see it's got mangoes growing out of the compost bin because I threw so many rotten mangoes in there. It's got mango trees growing all out of the sides of the compost. All this back here are all mango trees, little mango trees. Yeah, this moringa that I planted in the shade is doing well, surprisingly. Planted one just in, well, it's partial sun. You can see it gets bright sun, even though it's small. It gets little patches of partial sun. Planted them everywhere, moringa, and they've grown well almost everywhere, which I'm pretty happy about. We're gonna see, some places I planted them, they could potentially block the sunlight, not in ways I don't want, but I'm gonna trim them heavily. Hey Darth, am I gonna replant the mango trees? Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, I'm planning on doing that soon. Look, they're all on this side too. And I threw some pits just back in there to see if they would grow. It didn't look like any of those sprouted, but they sprouted where I didn't want them to grow and didn't sprout where I did want them to grow. So yeah, I've got to get these out. They'll survive pretty well. These are probably Tommy Atkins mangoes. They just sprout so easily, and that's great rootstock. And what I'll do is I'll take those plants that I grow in pots, and then I'll graft on using my cool grafting knife I got. Swiss Army grafting knife to graft on the already fruiting branches from this Tommy Atkins tree and also from this Hayden. Yeah, so the hens seem to be very escape prone. I'm gonna have to, today I plan on adding, oh, look at you. They're enjoying their start to the day. Cotton candy tree is looking good. Doing the check. This tamarind tree is really not where I'd like it to be in terms of growth. It's kind of leggy, not really vigorous. I'm hoping that it's just setting up the root system, and it will be ready to go soon. But it's in an area of the yard where it gets about half day sun this time of year, so it does get a lot of shade actually this time of year, and it gets more sun as we go into the winter in this location. So I'm thinking maybe it'll perk up when that happens. In the meantime, I'm slowly but surely surrounding this fort with vegetation, but also growing the shade canopy over this chicken coop, which is really important. Part of that strategy are these moringa trees that I planted along here that'll provide a big bushy vertical thing here. And then the rest of it is a mulberry tree approach, and planted mulberry tree cuttings, and that's what you get, fruit right off the cutting. But the mulberry trees are a great screen, a great shade producer, all that stuff in near the chicken coop. So I'm surrounding this chicken coop with vegetation, and it should make it even cooler in the summer months. In the winter months, it's going to get mostly shaded most of the day. But that's good because it keeps the chickens nice and cool in the morning. I come out here, let them out around 8 o'clock or so, out into their free range area, which does need some modification now. I said I'm going to do a project today, and this is the ladder up into the hatch of the tree fort. Every tree fort needs to have a hatch like that, I would say. But yeah, the fence currently runs to the top here. What I'm going to need to do is attach wire to go the additional. I've got 48-inch wire. I was going to use that for another compost bin, but I think it wasn't the right type for that anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a big piece of it out so that I screen in this area here, and that'll prevent them from flying over this spot. But then I might realize that they fly over every spot. That seems to be where they're prone to fly over. But I might, before I do that, now that I'm talking about it, I think maybe we'll clip their wings first and see if that has any effect. It might. And also I think moving this stuff away from the edge of the fence, it provides a thing I've noticed where if they can see something they can land on, they're much more likely to fly over a thing. So, but they now know how to fly up and land on the top of that. So that's yeah, I could always go higher fence too. That's another option, is just to go one more level up a fence, because I do want them to continue to be able to free range and forage and do all this, but I can't have them getting out all the time, because when they get out, they first of all are much more likely to have something bad happen to them. Chickens can get in a lot of trouble. Like I said, that water bin over there, you know, that's a bad thing for a chicken. So you don't want to have your chickens just free ranging, because they'll get into all kinds of mischief and then potentially get hurt or eaten by a cat, you know, because they're isolated. That's the other thing. When they're not a flock of birds, when they're just one bird, much more likely to fall victim to predation. And lots of predation would like to get these little chickies. So I've got to make sure that my system is good. I think without doing the wing clipping thing, it's unreasonable to start assuming that this fence is too low. Probably is too low, but I mean, it just needs to be low enough that they almost never fly over it, right? Because if they fly over it, all they do is fly into this larger part of the yard, and that's a pretty cool place for them to be, as long as we find them pretty soon. So we're not sweating it too much, but definitely have to have a good system. And you can see that's Chicken Joe. She is looking at this as, I could get right over onto that table. I know it. Yeah, these little Rhode Island Red hybrids are so affectionate that we all think that they just really honestly want to be near you, want to be held. They like being picked up. Hey Sharon, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I was just saying I need to modify my chicken setup here. because they've been flying over. But as I talked about it, realized, oh, I think I'm going to clip their wings first. I'm going to make a video about that too, since I've never done it. Yeah, that's a great idea. Put hardware cloth over the top of the water catchment. Excellent. As a matter of fact, that roll of hardware cloth that I have, that I plan on using, I think it's right behind me here. Gimbal turns slowly. There we go. Looks like the gimbal just ran out of power. I'm gonna put that over here. By the way, the gimbal's a pretty cool thing. Stabilizes everything, but it's out of power. But yeah, so I have this hardware cloth, which I think would actually work out perfectly for what you're saying. Yeah, to make a thing to put over the top so the chickens don't drown. I like it, and I'll have plenty here to do both enclosing this so they can't go over if needed, and do the other one. Yeah, they call it that's cool. So you got your Moringa seed, Sharon. That's excellent. You'll have a Moringa forest in no time. That's cool to eat them too. Yeah, I've eaten the leaves, and I think they call it a horseradish plant. It's an odd flavor, but to me, I would look at it almost like medicine. Like a multivitamin, a real multivitamin. I think I have enough actually now to harvest leaves and put them in the dehydrator. I've got the dehydrator's running right now, dehydrating a pineapple. But yeah, these are, I just don't want to hurt the tree too much. But I can definitely, I don't know that I would hurt it too much actually. These Moringa trees are so soft wooded. Look at that. I mean, they're just really, what's the word, herbaceous or something? They're just not hard wooded at all. And super fast vertical growers. I'm a little bit surprised at how far apart the nodes are on the branches. Yeah, exactly. That's it's, yeah, that is odd. Hey, Gerald, they like being pruned. Yeah, would you prune them this early? I'm wondering if it's about time to just go ahead and top this one. It's roughly 3 feet tall. I could just cut it right here. That might be good. I could just eat this top part if I did that. Just top it and promote all that lower growth now, as opposed to letting it get bigger. I was hoping that it would get a little bit of rigidity to the trunk, but doesn't look like that. The two that I grew in the corner got so tall so fast, and then the wind blew a little bit a couple days, and they went right over on their side, but not like broken. They just bent over because they're so. And then it started to grow back up. So it was on the ground, and it had already grown back up a couple inches by the time I stood it up. I tied it. That's right. You don't know until you go. Ideas are just stories. I just walked through a crab spider web. But yeah, these are the two. Oh, look at that. Now you can see the curve on this. From it fell over, it was growing back up this way, and now it's curved back out. Yeah, and this is the one. This might be my most vigorous Moringa tree so far. These are all very young trees, but I'm surprised that this one would be the most vigorous, and that's because it has the planting is so close. Those are just two seeds from a pot that I threw in there, and I'm wondering if this is the way to go, is to plant multiples. Because, already I could see the benefit, right? Because now you got twice the amount of leaves. So if I'm harvesting these, like Sharon was saying, as I, take them as a vitamin supplement, so to speak, a nutrition add, which I think is so cool. You would want the maximum amount of leaves possible, and by having multiple trees, you could achieve that just mathematically, but you wonder if they would grow well so close together. And my research has said, yes, they do grow very well close together. 7 foot tall right now. Yeah, Gerald, yours are 7 foot tall, the moringa trees. When did you top them? At what height did you top them, and how did that go for you? Because I'm really curious about that. They're all up in the 3 to 4 foot level now. My moringa trees, maybe one is slightly taller, but wondering when I want them all to produce maximum leaves. I'm not interested in it for the canopy at all. So I think I want to promote it like a bush and just keep it trimmed low. I mean, I plan to heavily trim all these. Check out this Roselli. Is this epic or what? Look at that. Kidding me? This is like the easiest thing on earth to grow. So beautiful. All from seeds. Oh, I have my little mylar seed bag up there. I thought maybe I'd plant a few things around. Here's another one I planted. I grew this in a pot and then just popped it in there. I've actually got, it's another Roselle. Hibiscus, edible hibiscus, delicious cranberry. Gonna be making teas with that too. Now, look at this. That's a Roselle. That's about a 2-week Roselli. Looking very, very good. Just regular potting soil. These are ready to be planted. All these grew from seeds. Update on the Persian mulberry cuttings, which is a very large-leafed mulberry. Best fruit I've ever had mulberry-wise. Okay, a couple of those growing from cuttings. I've got some big ones of those now growing that I'd taken from cuttings about half a year ago. A lot of moringa trees. Look at all these moringa trees. And they'll grow so tall, so fast. That is a cool little tree though. Yeah, what am I gonna do with another, let me see, how many more moringa trees do I have now? You don't think I overdo it, do you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 moringa trees ready to go. Quite interesting. And then these are Robellini palms, by the way. We do go into the Robellini palm area just a little bit because this is a good time of year to do that. These are just seeds I grew by throwing a pot of seeds onto the ground and then later taking a shovel of the sprouts and putting them in this pot. That's the whole process. Now I can separate these into other pots, which I need to do now. I just want to let them kind of recover from that experience. They've done that. It's been a few months. Now I'll transplant them so that they just have a few in each pot, and I'll show you some of my Robellini palms that I got at the store, but where I got this from because they are also sprouting. This is the time of the year like people's allergies in Florida go off the charts because every palm tree is dropping tons of the dirty old table. It's dropping tons of pollen because it's almost seed time, so you get every palm imaginable. I got some sweet, from a friend of mine, some sweet Chinese fan palm seeds that I'm going to be planting and growing this year. I'm going to be making a video on that here pretty soon, how to grow those. But palms are easy to grow from seeds typically, if you just figure out the formula. I bought this at Lowe's. It's a very medieval-like weapon, hand hoe, till thing with like a gel grip on it, but that's going to be useful because I'm going to cultivate that corner area with carrots here very soon. Look at this thing. great way to store seeds. Yeah, Sharon, here's the variety that I used. I don't know if that's the one you had used, but anyway, still have some left. But definitely well worth $10. Oh, I think I hear a chicken behind me. We've got Blondie the chicken has escaped again. All right. The red roselle. Red roselle. That's what we were looking at over in the corner. Are you kidding me? Blondie. Always Blondie. You think you're a pet chicken is what you think. All right. If only you could train them to not just relieve themselves everywhere they go. It would be wonderful. All right, what I'm going to do is plant a few of these and come back to them in future videos. But these are such prolific growers that you can just plant them right in the ground, at least in the soil that I have. By the way, another thing is once you harvest the flowers on these things, the seeds you get will be viable and produce great fruit. So you can just keep going with harvesting the seeds and the fruit every year. Here, where I'm at, I'm in zone 10A. I'll leave these seeds out here. That chicken will come and eat them. But where I'm at, you know, we could grow them year round. So I kind of like to, you know, the best time I suppose would be early spring to plant them, of course. You know, the channel, I hit some difficulties this year because the chickens ate all my roselle. They just determined they loved it and they ate it all. So, and I know if I plant it over here, every time the chicken gets out, that's the first thing they're going to nibble up. Like Blondie over there, she's a deck chicken right now. It's interesting. She escapes, but you can tell it's more or less just to come over and check out what you're doing, which seems really strange for a chicken. But all I'm going to do here is plant 2 little seeds. We'll see if those grow. Now this pigeon pea here is interesting. Yeah, with the ones with the paper on them is really what I'm used to seeing. I'm just putting these down about an inch into the ground in places I think there's a possibility for them to grow. I wouldn't mind for this whole area to become a nice hedge. There's some medicinal aloe growing there with purslane. Every part of what's growing in here is useful, which is the cool thing. I love doing this type of stuff, which is just plant seeds of things I know that are going to grow. And I do that also with sunflowers. Like, look at this sunflower, inconveniently located. Oh yeah, that's right, Gerald. I am zone 10A, which is a lucky thing to say, because oddly enough, zone 10A extends up the coastline. I'm gonna plant one in the shade over here. Where's that chicken? Where is that chicken? All right, we'll find that chicken in a second. But look at how much stuff just kind of grow. I think Jack might have actually planted this little Suriname cherry. Yeah, just plant stuff around because I really am going for much more of an understory thing. So I'm going to go ahead and risk it and put one right here. Oh, I know, you're just going to eat it. But that's all right, even if they do eat it. Look at this seed pod for the plumeria. You ever seen anything like that? Is that nuts? I was looking at this at the live stream yesterday. Crazy. Looks like a gigantic mustache. Is that bizarre? Frangipani, such a great plumeria, such a great thing if applied correctly. I use this one as a canopy. It's one of the very large varieties. Beautiful flower. Oh man. Don't just settle for a boring old white plumeria flower when you could get a wonder assortment Oh, look at you chickens. You think I'm going to feed the good chickens, the ones that don't escape. Or maybe Blondie's the good one. Here we go. Plant one right down in there. Why not? And look at all this rich organic matter in here. This is what you want. Without a doubt. Good. And again, stuff like this, I'll show you these. It's all, everything is bio return now. Want some grass? Yeah, every part of this. This is a actually rich resource for these chickens. They would go out into the yard, and I can take pieces of this and just hang it over the fence, and they will peck at that like crazy. This is like a good example of the kind of cool stuff you can do, in my opinion. There you go, good permaculture chickens. Getting to work. They know what to do, you just throw stuff in there. All right. I tore up a bunch of Amazon boxes for worm farm food. I need to finish that process. All right, here you go. A little bit of black fly soldier larva, straight from New Jersey. Good people at Grubterra. They love that. All right, I guess we could go on a chicken hunt. What's that? Somebody playing the drums? Nine A, 8B, yeah. Yeah, well, just a little bit outside of the tropical deal. This is subtropical, really, but is that crazy? I do believe this chicken just likes the attention. Hello, Ann. Welcome on from good morning. Demonstrating how incredibly tame this one particular chicken that I have is. She flew out of the coop, and I theorized it was to simply be near where I am out here.